Listen. What the fuck is wrong with this woman? Whose voice is that? It's internalized patriarchal rage. Think about it. All the outrage towards Bonnie Blue. Who is it serving? Who escapes accountability when we focus our anger on the woman? If there are no men willing to pay, there would be no market. But somehow we're mad at the supply and not at the demand. And that tells us everything about who we are conditioned to protect and who we are protecting. People keep saying that she's setting back feminist progress. You want to know what's really setting back feminism? Pretending this demand doesn't exist. Continuously remaining in shock by it. Focusing on individual women's choices instead of the system that created these choices. If people actually cared about this woman's safety, we'd be talking about how to legalize sex work, how to demand safer working conditions, healthcare, workers' rights, and support system. We would address the economic conditions that make this work attractive. But that's not what we're talking about, are we? Instead, this performative moral panic avoids examining the systems that created these markets. How is patriarchy producing this performance of rage in all of us and shifting the problem? It is not about welfare. It is about male comfort. Bonnie Blue has been doing extreme content for a very long time. The male response, fascination, entertainment, participation. But the moment it's called a petting zoo, making explicit what is actually happening, the petting zoo language crossed a line, not a safety line, it crossed a comfort line. It stripped away the pretty language about empowerment and says instead, you want to treat women like animals? Let's call it what it is. People who are comfortable with consuming this content or knowing that it exists in their periphery struggles when the mirror is being held back at them. When these symbolic constraints are removed, we all have to face the horror of our own mortality and animality. I think about what she embodies archetypally, and I keep coming back to the maternal body that bleeds, suffers, and has the potential to die during creation. To even imagine her in the situation she's describing is to imagine the patriarchal fear of the maternal body, the need to control and punish the body that gives life precisely because of its creative power. It does not surprise me that this is happening as Jupiter is moving into Cancer, the planet of expansion moving into the maternal sign of Cancer, magnifying the power and the threat of the womb. But as always, patriarchy is harmful to men too. This is what it produces here. It produces men who actively pay to become a part of anonymous mass instead of an individual sexual subject. The patriarchy produces male participation in their own dehumanization. And this is where comparing Bonnie Blue to Marina Abramovich gets interesting. In 1974, Abramovich let strangers do whatever they wanted to her in a performance art piece for 6 hours. There were 72 objects available for use, including ammunition. Audience members cut her, pointed at her head. Museums called it genius. Bonnie Blue planned something on a way larger scale. 2,000 people, 24 hours live streamed. We call it insane. Both surrenders control to strangers, both risking serious harm, both test human behavior when boundaries are removed. Abramovich gets celebrated because her work gets protected in this high art language. Gallery spaces, academic analysis, critical theory. It lets people, especially men, engage with female degradation while maintaining intellectual superiority. You know, I'm consuming groundbreaking art. But if we follow the money, it is still commodified through male-dominated cultural gatekeepers that determine the artistic value of this performance. Bonnie Blue is stripping away that comfortable distance. There's no fancy gallery, no art world legitimacy, just the raw transaction. Men paying for female degradation. Both women are revealing human nature and force uncomfortable conversations about consent, vulnerability, the male gaze. There are differences here, but the main difference is how comfortable male consumers feel. Next time when you feel that rage rising, when you want to ask what is wrong with this woman, ask yourself what would actually help. If you care about women's safety, advocate for legalization, regulation, rights, question the demand that creates these markets. If you care about feminism, ask why the appetite of 2,000 men consuming women like objects was already there. She just made it hyper visible, and we're angry at her for showing us what we didn't want to see. This image of this glass confessional is a public spectacle of the knowledge that we frankly should know already about the patriarchy. So what's up with the culture that creates the demand for female degradation, keeps the work dangerous, and then acts shocked when women profit from it instead of getting destroyed? It would be way easier if Bonnie Blue is the culprit behind feminism getting set back. To me, she is just here to reveal what we're actually up against.